growing up, my uncle was a runner. He ran every day, probably 5, 6, 7 miles, and he kind of got me into running. And I actually would go running. I never kept track of times or anything, but I would run early on. But I would say I was never a great runner by any means. Just something for
Gotcha.
exercise. So
Okay, but you had some level of athleticism. You played some organized sports and things like that. So we talked already that you just finished your Ironman. We'll just call it like 9 days ago. But you didn't start
sounds
there,
good.
I'm guessing, right? Most of us age groupers, us Everyday Ironman, we started it with a 5K or a local this or that, right? What was your, can you talk me through the timeline of your first quote unquote organized event to your Ironman experience? Can you do that?
Sure. Honestly, I didn't I didn't do a lot of organized events. I'm somewhat of a cheapskate. Um,
Okay. No,
but
I'm a notorious cheapskate, so
yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, if you can say I did the turkey trot, the local turkey trot run,
Yep.
and that was a 10K, and I think I actually got third place in that run in my age group, but with
Nice.
COVID, I think there was less people. I think my finishing
Mm.
time was just under 48 minutes.
Hey,
So I was pretty.
you can't control who else shows up, buddy. You just gotta take
That
the
is
third.
true.
You gotta take the third place victory. Everybody else had a chance to show up. As I told Tyler Reese
Yeah.
the same thing. Or Tyler Russell. Just got to show up and race your race. Okay.
Yep. So I did that, and as odd as it sounds, even though I got third place, and there was a guy in my same age that ran that thing in about uh, 5 minute, 6 minute miles, less than 6 minute miles, and I
Yeah.
thought, my goodness, I'll never get to that point. But I said, you know what? I did this. It was probably my best time ever. What else can I do? And
Mm-hmm.
I had run a marathon in 2010, so quite a while ago. Um, and I was not as in good a shape. I remember I would run for 20 minutes and walk for 2 minutes, and that was how I did it. And I did pretty good on that till I hit mile 20, and I ate about 3 of those gel packs, which I didn't even know what gel packs were, but they tasted so good. I ate them, and that I felt like I had eaten a Thanksgiving dinner. And about the last 3 miles, I pretty much had to walk, you know. Um, and I finished in a time of 5 hours, 45 minutes. I beat the cutoff, which was my goal also. But outside of that, I did do some run races, trying to get my wife and daughter into walking. They would walk while I would run, just local around Kenosha and that. But not really anything. I know that the training said to try and do a half Ironman before you do the Ironman, and I thought they're a little pricey, plus the time, the traveling and the
Yeah.
hotel and all that. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm just gonna do the training. That the training I did was just on the Ironman website. It said 6 months out, and I put it into an Excel spreadsheet, and I would just update it each day with what I did, and that
Wow.
was the training. But
So, and I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So did you do any local triathlons at all?
none. This was literally my first triathlon, and it's
Your very first triathlon was a full distance Ironman.
it is crazy. And the thing
Wow.
is, I I talked to people that would give rides to an Uber.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to one lady in Chicago, and she, I would kind of mention it just to see if they had done it, to give me any pointers or anything like that. I
Yeah.
would kind of in conversation, but she told me she would train 4 hours a day, and not for a full. I don't even know if it was a half, but I
Uh-huh.
thought I'm not even training that much, at least at that point. Well, I don't even
Yeah.
think I trained that other than the long bike ride. But she said, "Well, you've got cojones trying to do a full Ironman without ever having done any of the other stuff." I said, "Well, my goal is to finish. I'm not trying to. As long as I finish, I'll be happy. You know."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Wow.
but
I gotta say, Doug, you you might be the first person that I've talked to that went straight couch. I'm just gonna say couch to 140.6. I know you did the turkey trot and things like that, but almost everybody that I have talked to did at least like a local sprint or something along those lines. Good for you for